Okay, a very good morning to all of you. We have been talking about different literary concepts and terms. So far, we have talked about aestheticism, allegory, allusion. We also talked about ambiguity, then anachronism, anecdote, antagonist, the term like antagonist, then anthology, aphorism, apostrophe, archetypal theme and archetype. Then we also talked about atmosphere in the last lecture. We referred to black humor and burlesque. Now we should go ahead with the next term. The next term begins with C. Is caricature. A caricature is a kind of literary device. This is used in descriptive writing, and even it is used in painting and other visual arts. Means it is not simply a literary device, it can be referred to as a device in general, and it is used in literature, that is in descriptive writing. At the same time, it is used in visual arts as well. Visual arts means in film, then in painting, etc. So in this particular device, means what happens exactly, we shall talk about it. In it, particular aspects of subjects are exaggerated. Means a subject matter is there, and a particular part of that subject matter is exaggerated, is presented in an exaggerated manner. Exaggeration means a kind of overstatement, overstating something. Means atishokti, that is the Marathi term for it. So particular aspects of a subject are exaggerated. Now, what is the purpose behind this particular exaggeration? The purpose is to create a silly or comic effect. Okay. Now, let's see. A cartoon can be taken as an example of caricature. A cartoon and a, a picture of a person with a big nose, a very big nose. It's a kind of exaggeration, and the is drawn to create a silly or comic effect. You must have seen the cartoons of political leaders in different newspapers. So they are the examples of caricature. So a caricature is a rendered image. Okay, it shows the features of its subject in a simplified or exaggerated way. Okay, it is a rendered image. Rendered means an image which has been created to show the features of that particular person, that particular subject matter in a very simplified or exaggerated way. And this can be done through sketching, pencil strokes, or through artistic drawings. In the field of painting, we can say in sketching, it happens. So we can define it as a plastic illustration. Plastic means something which is not stable. Okay, something which is changeable. So it is a plastic illustration, and it can be a derivative drawing or a portrayal based on an exaggeration of the natural features. Okay, and it gives humorous touch to that particular subject. We are talking about caricature in painting, in drawing, or in sketching. When we talk about caricature in literature, what's it? Let's try to understand. We understood what is caricature. Caricature is a device. We understood it firstly. Then we understood that it is a subject which is exaggerated. Means a particular aspect of a subject which is exaggerated. And this, the purpose behind this exaggeration is to create a silly or comic effect, and at the same time we understood that caricature is a rendered image. Okay, Means it can be done through sketching, pencil strokes, etc. It is a plastic illustration. We understood that as well. And it is a portrayal based on an exaggeration of the natural features. And again, I would like to tell you that the purpose behind this kind of uh, what we call illustration, this kind of portrayal is, to give humorous touch to the subject. And in case of sketching, we talked about cartoons. Okay, now you must have seen many cartoons. Even you must have seen, the cartoon films as well, in which we do see the characters in a very funny manner. Means they are portrayed in a very funny manner, having big nose or having some other uh, body part which is bigger than the normal size. So this is an example caricature. And then when we talk about it in literature, a caricature is a description of a person. Means the writer does not draw a picture. The writer uses words to describe a person. And caricature in literature is a description of a person using exaggeration of some characteristics. And even sometimes he goes for oversimplification of others. Some of the features of the person, some of the qualities of the person are exaggerated. At the same time, they are oversimplified as well. Means they are shown, the person is shown too simple. No, over means something is more than expected. We say over smart, okay, overstatement, etc. So over stands for something more than expected normally. Okay, so this kind of device or this form of writing focuses on the unique qualities of a person. Okay, and at the same time, it exaggerates and distorts. Distorts means to damage, to present in it in a very broken manner. So it distorts those qualities. Some qualities are talked about, then they are exaggerated and distorted. Why? Again, I had mentioned it earlier, to ridicule the person, to make fun of the person. In day-to-day life as well, no, when you make fun of, when you mock at a person, means we do not call it a caricature, but what is our aim? Our aim is to ridicule. Okay, ridicule the person, and to talk about what he or she represents. Okay, now in our day-to-day life, for example, we talk about political leaders and their qualities. When you just a narrator, a writer can describe a political leader in a very exaggerated manner. Okay, so in literature, it allows writers to overlay exaggerated traits of a character. Okay, a character is presented in films, etc. You must have come across. You do not come across a protagonist or an antagonist having such qualities in day-to-day life, especially the humorous characters. Okay, at the same time, the villains are kinds of caricatures. Okay, and the characters who are used for comedies. Now, you must be familiar with Johnny Lever, then other such people, Paresh Rawal. So they represent such kind of caricatures. So Babu Bhaiya, for example, in Hera Fairy or some other, I don't remember the title of the movie. So these are caricatures. No? They are typical characters, and because characters often seem ridiculous due to the over exaggeration provided by the author, it creates a humorous mood for the reader. Okay, there are many such characters in different what we call plays, different stories, different novels, etc. I can just give the example of Bottom, BOTTOM. Bottom, B capital, is the name of the person from William Shakespeare's play, uh, A Midsummer Night's Dream. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, there is a character named Bottom, and he's presented in such a funny manner, such a humorous manner, that whenever we meet him, we laugh, we laugh at the character. Okay, so this is how we can understand the characters, the caricatures in literature. Another example is, an example from Good Country People, and another example is Good Man is Hard to Find by Flannery O'Connor. So uh, this writer has used caricatures for serious and satiric purposes in his stories. So this is how we can understand the term caricature. Now we shall go ahead with the next term. The next term is character and character type. Now you are well familiar with character. So character, I'm not talking about character of a person. We are talking about characters from a play, a story, etc. So character can be defined as any person or animal or figure. Okay, a person, animal or figure represented in a literary work can be called a character. And in literature, there are many types of characters. Okay, and each of these characters have their own development and function. Then how to classify characters? We can classify characters by examining how they change or how they don't change over the course of an action, a story. As the story develops, as the plot develops, the characters either they develop or either change or they don't change. Based on this, we can classify characters. So whether they change in the over the course of a story or they don't change. Okay, so based on this classification, we have the dynamic character, the round character, the static character, the stock character, and the symbolic character. These are different types of character. And this classification, this grouping is based on the way of the character development. Okay. And this term can refer to the convention of using stock characters. Now, for example, the Miles Glorious, okay, from Braggart Soldier. Miles Glorious. It's a play by Plautus. Okay, so this particular character is used was used during Renaissance and Roman comedy. Renaissance, you must be knowing, Renaissance is a period, in which a revival of learning took place. We talk about Renaissance in Europe, Renaissance in England. It is a period, wherein people got exposure to new knowledge. A revival of learning took place. It can also be defined as, the rebirth of knowledge, rebirth of learning. During 16th century, it happened in England. And when the Britishers came in India as well, we underwent Renaissance through the social reformers such as Rajaram Mohan Rai, and then we can refer to Mahatma Phule and other such social reformers who came under the influence of this new learning, who started understanding the what we call oppressive caste system, oppressive traditions in Hindu culture, and they went against it. So this is what Renaissance is. Renaissance is a new learning, and we can see this character Miles Glorious of Renaissance and Roman comedy with the figure of Vice, Vice, Vice. Vice means what? Can someone tell? Okay, Vice is an opposite word to virtue. Virtue, Virtue. Virtue means good quality, and vice is bad quality. In Marathi, we use the word Durgun. Okay, so the figure of vice in medieval morality plays this particular Miles Glorious of Renaissance and Roman comedy is the figure of vice in medieval morality plays. You might be knowing. You must be studying all these things in a paper one and paper two. Paper one, especially, you start with the history of what we call English literature. And if you have studied drama in your SYBA, then time as well, you must have got introduced with mystery and miracle plays. It is not possible for me to talk about each and every term in this class. So I suggest you people to go through the history of English literature for preparing yourself for the Saturn Net examination. So this character appears, which is the symbol of vice. Okay, vice means bad quality, evil nature, and he's the cleverest. Means in many Elizabethan comedy, this particular character appears as servant. Okay, you can have these examples in Hindi movies as well. So you must be knowing in Hindi movies we come across typical Saas, typical Bahu. So they are character types only, Means, or else you can come across a typical person in a family who tries to spoil the family happiness. So these are character types. Well, character type can also describe flat characters. Flat characters mean the characters which do not change over the course of a story. And this term was coined by E.M. Foster. Okay, E.M. Foster. E.M. Foster's Passage to India, you must be familiar with, is a very famous fiction. So E.M. Foster coined. Coin means someone who finds it for the first time. Okay, coining. C-O-I-N. Coin is the term used in linguistics to mean inventing the word, finding a new word, coining. You must be knowing it. You must have studied in your language paper. Well, so flat characters, which was coined by Ian Foster in fiction, who do not grow or change during the course of the narrative or story, and can easily be classified. So based on this, we can have two major types of character. Means I am talking about types of character now. Two types. There are two types: major characters and minor characters. So these characters are the most important characters in the story. And within that, there are two types again. The major characters can be classified into two groups, into two types. One is protagonist and the other one is antagonist. Okay, so protagonist is the main character. It can be called, in simple words, we call him the hero or heroine, around whom the whole story revolves. The whole story moves around that person. That person is called antagonist. For example, in typical Hindi, Marathi movies, you come across a child who is born and then he grows up and then his parents are just troubled by others. Sometimes they are, his parents are murdered, and then he grows up with the feeling of anger. He wants to take revenge. So this is how the story revolves around the main character, and the decisions made by this character will be affected by conflict from within. No, Means sometimes there can be conflicts from within itself, and sometimes these conflicts may arise through external situations, through another character. Now, for example, when we talk about Hamlet as a protagonist, Shakespeare's Hamlet. Hamlet is the name of the play, at the same time, name of the protagonist from Hamlet. He is the prince, okay, the prince of Denmark. So he undergoes, what we call this internal conflict, to be or not to be. At the same time, he has that kind of, conflict with his uncle. So this conflict can be with another character, with nature. In modern days, this conflict can be with technology. For example, Robot, you must have seen by Rajnikant. So in it, the conflict with it, the conflict of the protagonist is with technology, the robot. The conflict can be with society. In typical Amitabh Bachchan movies, or in a movies where women are oppressed, there is a conflict with society. Ye Anda Kanun Hai, for example, is a conflict with the social system. Or sometimes it can be the fates. The conflict can be with fate or God. दैव कुणाला कुणा दैव दैव कुणाला कुणाचा कळला. So that is fate. So your conflict means your fate does not go in favor of you all the time. So this is what we understand by the term protagonist. Then we have antagonist. Now, what is antagonist? Antagonist is a character, a group of characters who cause the conflict for the protagonist. Means it can be another person, it can be nature as well. So the antagonist could be the protagonist sometimes, he might be knowing. A protagonist who is torn by a problem within. Okay, means what? He has, some kind of anger. Now, for example, when we talk about Dawn, the movie of Amitabh Bachchan, of course, there is a remake of Dawn, and Shah Rukh Khan appears in that. I'm talking about Dawn, whichever, no? So you might be knowing that Dawn is a smuggler. So a smuggler cannot be the hero. So he is the antagonist. But the antagonist who is the protagonist of that particular movie, story. This antagonist is torn by a problem with him. In many of typical, Amitabh Bachchan movies, we come across such kind of character who turns into, just smuggler, robber, etc. Okay, and but he is, unfavorable to bad people, and he's good for good people. So most times, something external is causing the problem in the case of antagonist. Okay, and antagonist can be referred to a group of people causing the conflict in society. They can be political leaders, members of a team, community, or institution. And antagonist could be a part of nature as well. It can be an animal. For example, if you have seen Jungle Book, the tiger, Sher Khan, is the antagonist. There can be the weather, which can be the antagonist. For example, if you have seen that Titanic, that ship drones. So this here the antagonist, the weather. The antagonist can be a mountain, or it can be a lake, natural element. Okay, a different kind of antagonist would be even a pen, car, phone, carpet, etc. as well. Yes, I'm giving example. It can be anything, because these are all considered technology. They are instruments or tools to complete a job. And the conflict comes from the excessive use of technology. So this is how we can understand the term, antagonist, in which the conflict comes from something out of the character's control. So the antagonist is fate or God as well sometimes. So this is how we understand, both uh, mm, protagonist and antagonist. Apart from that, there can be minor characters as well. Okay, now who are they? These are the other characters in the story. They are very less importance in the story. They are not as important as the major characters, but still their role is important. They play a large part in the story. Their actions help the story to go forward, drive the story forward. You can say. Means you cannot imagine a story development without their presence. Now, for example, in Hamlet, again, I would like to tell, we have Hamlet, a protagonist, and his uncle, okay, an antagonist, Claudius, I'm talking about. But there are certain other characters. For example, Portia. Portia is a beloved, but her father's murder takes place. Hamlet, by mistake, murders him, and the development of story takes place because of this kind of this particular event, action. So this is how the manner characters can play an important role in the development of the story. They may impact the decisions the protagonist or antagonist make. Means they may either help or interfere with the conflict. Now, if you talk about Sophocles', plays, there you come across Antigone, for example. Antigone's sister, okay, uh, is a minor character, but she has a role to play. Or the king's, uh, what is his name? I forgot his name, but the king's son appears for a short time, but he has a very important role to play. So these characters can have different character traits, features, qualities. When we compare minor characters with major characters can be more dynamic. They change and grow through the story, while minor characters may be more static. Static means stagnant. They don't change. They remain the same. And based on that, we have these characters, these kind of types: foil, static, dynamic, flat, round, stock. We talked about it. Now, what is a foil? A foil is a character that has opposite character traits from another. Means what? This character meant to help highlight or bring out another positive or negative side. Okay, so many times the antagonist can be the foil for the protagonist. The antagonist's bad qualities highlight the protagonist's good qualities, positive side. Static characters are uh, are static means characters who are static and they do not change throughout the story. They use their use may simply be to create or relieve tension. They were not meant to change at all. And a major character can remain static through the whole story sometimes. Because of that, a kind of conflict arises. Whereas dynamic characters, the words themselves are implicit enough to understand the meaning. Statics, stagnant, dynamic, changing, gatiman. So dynamic characters change throughout the story. They may learn a lesson, become bad, or change in a complex ways. For example, I told you, a protagonist who is very good, who is educated, but because of circumstances, he becomes bad, he becomes a villain, he becomes a smuggler, etc. So this is what dynamic character is. Then a flat character has one or two traits. Trait means features, qualities, usually only all positive or negative. They are the opposite of a round character. Okay, flat characters are opposite of a round character. Means they have some flaw or strength. The flaw or strength has its use in the story. They have some flaw means weak point, or some strength means some strong point, and that helps in the development of story. Whereas round characters, which are opposite of the flat character, they have many different qualities, traits. They can be good or bad. Its flat characters can be either good or bad. But here, these qualities, म्हणजे फ्लॅट कॅरेक्टर फक्त वाईट तर असू शकतात किंवा चांगले तर असू शकतात. राऊंड कॅरेक्टर्स कॅन बी either good or bad. So these traits make them more interesting. And stock characters are the stereotypical. Stereotypical means a very particular means these characters are found everywhere. Okay, so for example, the boy genius, the boy who is very genius, then ambitious career person, faithful, okay, or it can be mad scientist. These are stock characters. They can appear in any kind of stories, irrespective of the place they belong to. So this is how we understand caricature and characters.